current role is the leader of our marketing technology stack at Thomson Reuters. I have a long career in marketing automation and marketing operations with different positions around high tech companies, enabling growth, scale, data platforms, and lots of analytics. And currently in my role to help with a fairly substantial multi-year digital transformation journey of a 165-year-old company that's very quickly embracing being modern and providing very modern customer experiences. We call it a digital maturity model that's enabled by data. But part of our digital transformation journey was to really understand what are the capabilities that are required to support a digital business, to enable a global marketing organization to have consistency and do things like personalization and achieve some of these aspirations that modern born in the cloud companies can do for an enterprise that was trying to become leaner, more customer centric, and creating a very delightful experience for customers. And so, in order to do that, we had to understand what kind of technology we needed and what it's used for. But it was hard to explain to executives or leaders what are these capabilities and how do they work together without putting some kind of a frame around it, which is that you can own tools and own the best technology, but your organization has to also be ready to activate it. And you have to have the infrastructure as well as the right data pipelines to be able to make them intelligent to create those experiences. And so I put together this 4-stage framework to help articulate what are the different stages of maturity that we would be at, maybe assign a time frame to it and refer back to it to see if we're ready to take the next step. Because if you're trying to do personalization and you don't have the basis for it, you may not be able to actually do personalization, as an example. So we built this to help articulate in a simple, consumable format how to look from starting and how you would get to a maturity state, which is being able to do things in an artificial intelligence type of a workflow. We look at two different aspects of this. One is technology and one is capabilities and people and process. And we look at them from like what is purely operational. So what does it mean to have capabilities and use them? Really is a way to think about it. Like you can execute business process, but you're executing. Then there's the stage of digitize, which is when you're able to bring technology together to enable those different platforms to solve problems and have specific capabilities that are meant to enable a capability, not to execute a process. The next stage of evolution to that is connected, where you have data that's enabling all of the automation and creating experiences in a more integrated manner. And then intelligent is sort of the final stage, which is that not only do your systems and processes work together in an automated way, but you have AI powering your channels. Data is flowing consistently, and it's intelligent and it's real time and it's very responsive. Well, an operational stage is I need a marketing automation system. I must have a video marketing platform. So I'm going to go buy those things and I'm going to use them. And I learn how to use them. I learn how to build campaigns in marketing automation. I might learn how to create some journeys, but I'm doing everything within the tool. There's nothing that's feeding it, and there's no coordinated process that goes beyond how that tool operates. And it may live side by side to some other capabilities in the organization. Typically, marketing automation will have a CRM system, and maybe those two are working together, but that would be what I'm here to do tactically, and I do my job and I complete within the range of the tool set. So typically when an organization is in this stage, they may own a lot of technologies and they operate them in silos. That's how to think about it. This is honestly one of the hardest transformations, because to realize what it means to move out of working in a silo, you have to understand how to look at what's beyond it. And what the way I would explain it is that you have some data, and it didn't come from your platforms. It's part of what's an organic data ecosystem that's available to then use against a customer experience, or to do some kind of even personalization of an email. Let's just put it that way. And there's limited data driven decision making, but you're lighting up a more targeted experience, and you have things that are starting to talk to each other. There's enough data that's being collected that could be reused. And typically, if an organization, I'll go back to the marketing automation example because I think it's an easy one for people to grasp. When you first implement a marketing automation system, you may not actually have data in it. You haven't collected a lot of customer data. You're starting to build forms. You're starting to collect your leads. As you mature that, you now have data to use to then make that lead process better, or to enable your forms to be more intelligent, or to allow for you to take what you've collected and take it to the next phase of a customer life cycle. And that's where a lot of companies really aspire to see their pipes working together, their investments really starting to play with each other, where you built a blueprint of what are your core technologies. They're integrated. They collect data. They pass data in a consistent manner to one another. There's probably an environment where your data is stored outside of the technologies itself. And there's the absolute ability to personalize in appropriate places in a customer experience. There's enterprise-wide data availability and insights. And truly, you're enabling consistency across your channels. It could be like the omni-channel realization for a company. I would say that a lot of companies, enterprise companies specifically, go between digitized and connected. And in some of the business units or our customer segments could be a little bit more advanced. Some might be a little bit further behind. But there's typically one part of that enterprise that's pushing towards those connected experiences that brings the rest along. So I think this is where you can see some organic versus more purposeful, where there's advanced teams, advanced use cases that are driving that transformation. But if you look at the three different stages that we talked about so far, what really makes a difference in this is getting really purposeful about how your data is available and collected, and that you're automating and integrating as much as possible. And when you reach connected, those things are in place and they're fully well supported, and you have an industrialized capability that's the building blocks to those experiences. We tend to talk about this as like the Amazon of doing business with an enterprise, right? I mean, it's where you really have personalization at scale. That could be a micro personalization. You have content fragments that are building your web experiences that are dynamic. You have everything organized in a way where you can assemble building blocks, and you have intelligence that's driving how those building blocks create experiences. Your data is vast, dynamic, and exists in multiple areas that then can be influenced by machine learning and AI capabilities that are then driving a much more intelligent experience real time. And I mean, and that really is nirvana. And I think for our organization, we definitely aspire there. And we have some roadmaps that are taking some of our capabilities to that next level. But as you could imagine, that bar changes year over year as the organizations themselves, as the capabilities themselves mature, and there's new things that are then available for there's new capabilities that become available as their standard. And I think intelligence, while it's an aspiration, it's also very difficult for some organizations to even realize. And I think for us, when we were looking at the path towards connected. That was really the goal. I would encourage anyone that's going through this kind of evolution themselves and their roles and their organization to really think about how to get to connected. And then you could start layering in those different components that accelerate a path towards AI, towards really being analytically and machine learning driven across everything we do.